Welcome, dear friends, to Anara Healing Space for you. In this video, we will explore the Buddha's profound wisdom on impermanence, known in Pali as Anicca, the art of letting go. The Buddha reminded us again and again that everything in life is subject to change. Our bodies grow old, our possessions decay, relationships shift, and even our emotions rise and fade. Yet, instead of resisting this truth, we can learn to embrace it. To understand impermanence is to walk closer to liberation. When we accept that all things are temporary, we loosen the chains of clinging, desire, and fear. This realization brings not despair, but freedom, because letting go allows us to live more deeply, more peacefully, and more lovingly. Together, let us reflect on 10 Buddhist ways to embrace impermanence and discover the healing power of release. 1. See change as natural. The Buddha taught that everything that arises will also pass away. Nothing is permanent. Our possessions, our emotions, even the mountains and seas are changing moment by moment. Often, our suffering comes not from the change itself, but from resisting it. We want things to stay the same, to keep the comfort we know. But life does not obey our wishes. When we see change as natural, as the very heartbeat of existence, we begin to soften our grip. Think of the seasons. Spring blossoms, summer ripens, autumn fades, and winter rests. None of these seasons can last forever, yet each has its own beauty. In the same way, every stage of life carries lessons and gifts. By welcoming change, instead of fearing it, we align ourselves with reality. Then, instead of being crushed by impermanence, we are carried gently by its flow. 2. Practice mindful observation. Mindfulness is the key to seeing impermanence directly, not just as an idea, but as a lived truth. Sit quietly and watch your breath. Notice how each inhalation cannot be held, how it naturally turns into exhalation. No matter how much you want to cling to one breath, it will leave, making space for the next. In the same way, your thoughts come and go. A worry appears, stays for a moment, and dissolves. A joyful memory arises, lingers, and fades. Through mindfulness, you see clearly that nothing is fixed. This awareness weakens attachment, because you no longer believe emotions or thoughts will last forever. When anger arises, you know it will pass. When joy appears, you cherish it without clinging. Like clouds drifting across the sky, experiences move through the mind. By observing with calm awareness, we learn to flow with life, not fight against it. 3. Release the grip of possessions. We often cling tightly to possessions, believing they will bring security or lasting happiness. But the Buddha reminded us that material things are impermanent. They wear out, get lost, or change hands. Reflect on how many objects you once valued are now gone, forgotten, or replaced. Did they bring you lasting peace? True contentment cannot come from things that fade. Letting go does not mean rejecting comfort or living without necessities. It means using what we have with wisdom and enjoy the beauty of a flower without needing to own it. Use wealth as a tool to support yourself and others, not as a measure of your worth. When we release the tight grip of ownership, we experience freedom. We stop being slaves to what we fear losing. Instead, we become caretakers grateful for what is here, ready to release it when it is gone. 4. Embrace emotional flow. Emotions, like waves, rise and fall in the ocean of the mind. Anger, joy, sadness, excitement, none of them last forever. Yet suffering begins when we cling to pleasure or resist pain. The Buddha taught that feelings are impermanent. To hold them too tightly is to invite disappointment. Notice how quickly emotions shift. A small kindness can turn sadness into warmth. A harsh word can make joy fade. By seeing emotions as temporary visitors, we stop identifying with them. This sadness is not who I am. It is simply passing through. When anger arises, know that it will dissolve, like a storm clearing the sky. When happiness comes, savor it deeply, but without grasping. Living this way creates balance. We no longer fear being swept away because we trust the waves will come and go. In this flow, we discover peace in the heart of change. 5. Reflect on mortality. Contemplating death may seem uncomfortable, but the Buddha called it a powerful meditation. Death is the great reminder that nothing lasts. Every day is uncertain, and every life is fragile. Instead of creating fear, reflection on mortality brings clarity. It teaches us not to waste time in anger or greed, but to live with compassion and love. When you realize life is short, petty problems lose importance. Quarrels and grudges dissolve when compared to the truth of impermanence. Reflecting on death encourages us to cherish each moment, to be kind more often, and to let go of attachments that weigh us down. The Buddha said, "Of all footprints, that of the elephant is supreme. Of all meditations, mindfulness of death is supreme. By remembering that our time is limited, we live with greater purpose, urgency, and freedom. Mortality is not an enemy, it is a teacher of wisdom." 6. Cultivate detachment from ego. The illusion of a permanent self is one of the deepest attachments we hold. We believe our identity, our opinions, our roles in society define us permanently. But the Buddha taught that the self is also impermanent. Our bodies age, our thoughts evolve, our identities shift over time. Who you were as a child is not who you are today. And who you are today will not remain forever. By observing this truth, we loosen the grip of ego. We become less defensive, less fearful of change, less obsessed with status or pride. Detachment from ego does not erase individuality. It simply frees us from clinging to a false sense of permanence. This freedom allows compassion to grow, because when the boundaries of I soften, we see ourselves in others. Ego fades, and what remains is interconnectedness and kindness. The essence of Buddhist practice. 7. Practice generosity. Generosity is one of the most powerful antidotes to clinging. Each time we give, we loosen the illusion of ownership, whether it is money, time, or a kind word. Generosity teaches us that nothing truly belongs to us permanently. We are simply stewards of resources passing through our hands. The Buddha praised generosity as the beginning of liberation because it trains the heart to release. When you share food with someone hungry, you also share the burden of attachment. When you give kindness to a stranger, you open space for compassion. True generosity is not about the size of the gift, but the freedom in the act of giving. It transforms the fear of loss into the joy of connection. Over time, the practice of generosity reshapes the heart, replacing greed with trust and grasping with openness. In giving, we learn the peace of letting go. 8. Trust the Dharma. The Dharma, the Buddhist teachings, reminds us that clinging creates suffering and letting go brings peace. Yet often, we resist this truth because we fear uncertainty. Trusting the Dharma is like trusting the law of gravity. Whether or not we accept it, it remains true. Impermanence is not something to fight. It is a law of existence. When we place faith in the Dharma, we learn to ride the waves of change with steadiness. Like a raft on a river, the teachings carry us safely through currents of joy and sorrow, gain and loss. Faith does not mean blind belief, means testing the truth in our own experience. Each time you let go of anger and feel lighter, you confirm the Dharma. Each time you accept change and find peace, you prove the Buddha's words. Trusting the Dharma gives courage to release and walk toward liberation. 9. Live in the present. Impermanence teaches us that the past is gone and the future has not yet arrived. Only the present moment is alive. Yet many of us spend our lives regretting yesterday or worrying about tomorrow. The Buddha encouraged us to dwell fully in the now, for this is where freedom resides. When you eat, truly taste the food. When you walk, feel the ground beneath your feet. When you breathe, notice the gift of air filling your lungs. Living in the present does not deny planning or memory, but it keeps us rooted in reality. When regret arises, remember the past cannot be changed. When fear of the future comes, remember it is not yet here. Each mindful breath is freedom from attachment to what is not present. By living in the now, we release the chains of clinging and awaken to life as it truly is, fresh and free. 10. Find peace in letting go. The ultimate practice is to let go, completely, to open the clenched fist of the heart and trust life as it flows. Letting go does not mean indifference or giving up. It means releasing the need to control, to possess, or to demand permanence from what cannot last. The Buddha compared clinging to holding a burning coal. The tighter we grip, the more we suffer. When we let go, we cool the fire and find relief. This release brings profound peace, because we are no longer trapped by fear of loss or change. Letting go allows love to flow more freely, compassion to expand, and wisdom to shine. It is the gateway to freedom, because nothing weighs us down. In this surrender, there is strength. In this openness, there is joy. The highest peace comes not from holding, but from releasing. Dear friends, impermanence is not a curse, but a doorway to liberation. To embrace change is to align with the truth of existence. Every ending gives birth to a beginning. Every loss opens space for renewal. When we cling, we suffer. When we let go, we are free. These 10 Buddhist ways to embrace impermanence are not just ideas, they are practices for daily life. Reflect often on change. Practice generosity. Live in the present. And release the weight of ego. With each small act of letting go, the heart grows lighter, the mind grows clearer, and peace becomes more natural. May these teachings inspire you to trust the flow of life, to welcome impermanence as a teacher, and to walk with courage into the unknown. Remember, all things arise and pass, but the awakened heart remains steady, shining like a light through the changing winds of life. Namaste.